Good day and welcome to another episode of Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement. I'm here at the News Forum where all voices matter. We're very pleased to welcome back to Boom and Bust the Parliamentary Budget Officer, Monsieur Yves Giroux. Let's see what he's focused on these days. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I guess the first question is, what is your office working on presently?
Well, we are updating our economic and fiscal outlook, which we hope to release sometime in the fall, probably October. We are also looking at the multiple defense projects, such as the surface combatants and the acquisition of the new fighter jets, the F-35s. We're also looking at the multiple announcements that the government made recently with respect to electric vehicles and, more importantly, batteries. So there's been a plethora of announcements accompanied with a couple of affirmations by government ministers that this would pay for itself. These spending items or investments would pay for themselves within 5 years. So we're looking at that, and we plan on releasing a report sometime in September about the battery plants.
I do want to return to the battery and the EV investments. I'm glad that we'll have a chance to talk a little bit about that. Just in terms of the economic and fiscal outlook, what sort of factors are you considering in that?
When it comes to the battery plants themselves?
No, just generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're looking at inflation, of course, so the impact of inflation on the level of nominal GDP. We're also looking at interest rates. The Bank of Canada has increased its interest rates more than we anticipated several months ago, more than we thought was necessary to bring the economy back into balance. So that has an impact on the overall economy. It will likely slow down the economy more than we initially thought when we last released our economic and fiscal outlook. We're also looking at the pace of spending at the federal government. It's a government that's not shy about spending, so we're looking at that and the impact it's expected to have on the economy, as well as commodity prices, with the war in Ukraine continuing, unfortunately.
I mean, there's so much happening now on the economic news front, isn't there? How do you decide what topics or areas of government you should review?
So that's an interesting question. We go by a variety of factors. My office and myself, our mandate is to assist parliamentarians. So we look first and foremost at what is of interest to parliamentarians, MPs, and senators. So we base what we look at on their own feedback. So the questions and the topics that are of interest to them. Budgets and fall economic statements are always of interest to parliamentarians, similar to main estimates and supplementary estimates. So these are topics that are unavoidable for us. But we also look at what's happening in the economy. For example, when the government announces investments or expenditures of billions of dollars to support specific plants, battery plants in recent examples, that's something that tends to attract our attention. So the amounts at stake are also of importance to us. In a similar fashion, the Canadian surface combatants and the F-35s that the Canadian forces are purchasing or are having built is a topic of high interest for many parliamentarians. So these are some of the criteria. There's also private members' bills or bills that are in front of the House or the Senate, for which sometimes the costings are not as robust as we'd like them to be or are absent. So that's also an important decision factor in us determining whether to look at this aspect or not. A recent example is Bill C-18, which looked at limiting the capacity of electronic platforms, Meta and Google, to
Online
share.
News Act, yes.
Yeah, Online News Act. Thank you. So there was not really a cost estimate related to that, but it was of significant importance to parliamentarians from multiple parties. So we decided to look at that.
I see. Yeah, it seems like you're taking a look at large chunks of the budget or impactful things that are impacting the lives of Canadians, and I'm glad to hear that there's parliamentary input in that, MPs and senators and so on. Yves, we're going to take a brief break. We'll be back with you after that break. Please stay with us.